Okay. We got an Eastern Conference champion.
Yeah.
Just the team we all hope for, the Knicks. Welcome back, everybody, to the Mono Mission podcast. We're your co-hosts, Josh and Diego for your NBA. And we got an exciting series in the Western Conference as well. So we'll dive
Yeah.
into that as well. But before we continue, Diego, how was your weekend and what are you excited about in these final two games ish? Maybe one. We'll see. But
Yeah. My weekend was good, just chilling. I went back home to Chicago to see my mom. It was her birthday on Thursday. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm personally hoping for a Spurs win here. I've talked about it before, don't want any repeat champions, so but I also don't know if who would be better to face the Knicks, who I think should win to keep that streak alive. So that's something we'll debate. But I really would love for this to go seven. I feel like it deserves to go seven. It does. Just straight up. It should be. So, yeah.
yeah, Diego with his hidden agendas. He's got
Yes.
a Knicks hater on one side and he has an OKC on the other. So it seems like he wants the Spurs to win in seven and then win the finals. That's going
Bro.
to be a tall task after kind of the results we saw like yesterday. But who knows? Who knows?
Mhm.
I would also love to see the Spurs like be able to overcome that hurdle,
Yeah.
but it's if it takes them a year to do it, fine. That makes total
Yeah.
sense. Like, I think we forget how young that team is. Uh,
Exactly.
but you would like to see them be able to slay the dragon there for a bit. It'll make for a good story, and plus, a rematch of the NBA Cup is always
That
like
would be
intriguing as
insane.
well. So,
Yeah.
I don't think we ever had that since the NBA Cup has been implemented. So it should be interesting. Let's
Yeah.
start over in the East, though. Um, man, I didn't think the series was going to turn out this way through one half of game one, but
Yep.
the Knicks swept. They ended up pulling it off,
Yeah.
and I I found myself more disappointed in the Cavs than happy for the Knicks, and I don't know if that's the right perspective to have. So maybe help me out here, Diego. But from my standpoint, it looked like it's just the Cavs showing poor effort. They didn't they weren't executing consistently on offense when they did have success in the first half of games, and um,
Mhm.
they just had a lot of inexcusable mistakes. And then after the games ended, like the press conferences was just bizarre, and like you just don't think players and coaches with that level of experience would say the comments that they did. It just it just reeked of dysfunction, and it makes me wonder how the Cavs ended up getting here. So help me kind of digest the series a bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, first, all hats off to the Knicks. I was just telling my roommate, like, he was just like, well, aren't the Knicks bad? I can't believe they're here. And I was like, after the first round, I was like, oh, that's wild. But let's see the next round. Next round was pretty easy. And then this round, like, this has to be the biggest test, which I guess in a way it was for three quarters. And then the Knicks just shut the water off. And the biggest thing is you getting some inspired defense from Jalen Brunson and Carl Anthony Towns for once. Like Landry Shamet played great defense on Donovan Mitchell in some of these possessions in this
We
series.
went 12 with 13 from the line, three
That as
point line.
well. Yeah. So it's just a perfect mix. Playing Carl Anthony Towns as this as this passer out of the high post as a big man. And the big thing we've talked about how Brunson ball just doesn't work. The one man dribbling the air out of the ball doesn't inherently work. It gets you wins in the regular season, but it doesn't always work. And when they needed it, when they were down 2-1 against the Hawks, for some reason Mike Brown says, "Cat, it's your time to shine." And he does it, and it just makes the team infinitely more dangerous. Mikal Bridges shooting a scorching percentage. These are the things that happen when everyone gets involved, and I think that's what makes the Knicks so dangerous now. They have more options. They're not just one way anymore, and the Cavs couldn't figure that out. The Cavs had one way to play, and once they got figured out, and once they couldn't kind of go against the Knicks and what they wanted to do, was kind of over. And we saw that when when Mike Brown said, "Oh, James Harden, you're gonna guard Jalen Brunson every time we have the ball." It's sad, and even at the end of that game three, literally giving up. And I get it, it's kind of cooked, but at least you're on the court, try to give it everything until the buzzer sounds. But it was lackluster. It's just
I think
very
I texted
disappointing.
you this, but on one fast break, I think it was
Yeah,
actually, I don't know if it was Mikhail Bridges or somebody streaking down the lane. I don't know if you saw the highlight after I mentioned it.
no,
There were
I don't think I did.
four calves, like just trotting back, like running backward, trotting back for a fast break,
Yeah,
and they all ended up from like I want to say the top of the paint key to the left side of the court. There's not a single one on the right wing,
yeah,
like during a fast break where people are trying to spread out and run. And you could see Struz and Mobley with the closest defenders, but like closest a stretch. Like they were not even looking at a streak in Mikhail Bridges who didn't have the ball. But it's like
yeah,
on the first break, the fast break, your first instinct is like to locate who has the ball, who are the people running, like how many people do we have to like defend in a
hmm,
short span. And there was no communication. It was just a lot of like mishaps. Like we can talk about the 7 minute game one massacre of James Harden. We could talk
yeah,
about that. We could talk about switching, not playing zones until like game four in desperation, but like also not giving Donovan Mitchell the ball when he had it going, not giving
yeah,
Evan Mobley when he had a strong first half. Then you have a lot of moping around, lousing around, not good enough effort,
yeah,
taking so long to put in Max Strus. There's just a lot of like, you could talk about the commentary by Kenneth Atkinson, where it's like, analytically, we won 2 or 3 games when you're down 3-0, looking at a sweep. And then you could talk about James Harden being like, I thought we were the better team after
yeah.
the series ends. Like, it's just like,
Uh,
what is going on here? There's no accountability. There's no like communication or effort when it's needed. And there's no like there's no sense of urgency or
mhm.
course correction. That's a recipe for disaster for a team that made it to the conference finals where it's like, okay, we should be talking about how they improved this season, but
Yeah.
instead they've left us feeling a sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah, I mean, this is the farthest the Cavs got, but like they said on the Hoop Collective podcast, like the Cavs wheezed their way to this point. They lost more games than they won. They had to play 14 games while the Knicks had played what, 10? They're way better, way more well rested. But I think the base one thing I saw is this creator, I think he's mostly a Hawks content creator, and he does a lot of very good like stats analysis. His name is David Lee, DLee43 on Twitter. I saw this morning, and Donovan Mitchell, I don't know since when, maybe like 2000 or 1997. I don't know, some time. It's been multiple years, over a decade. Donovan Mitchell is 5 of the 6 like lowest like passing seasons or postseasons in this long stretch where like maybe Kawhi Leonard is one of those guys on there and he won a championship because he's just that much better of a scorer and he's bigger, right? And he plays defense. And it just like Donovan Mitchell's a great scorer, but that's all he is. He's not a point guard. He's not like a creator, a LeBron esque guy who can score, pass, and defend. He can just score. And the fact you bring in Harden to help with that point guard role, but you still don't have the defensive chops, it just feels like this team is just lacking a bit of that. Where in your starting lineup you have two bigs, but one can kind of shoot, one can't shoot, and then offensively all the load is on Donovan Mitchell, and he doesn't really know how to dish that out. And I think this guy David Lee, he even cited that Harden on was like positive, while him Harden and Donovan Mitchell on the court was a negative like on off rating, because it just doesn't. You think it would be like Chris Paul and James Harden, but that's not the case. And I think it makes me think Donovan Mitchell's in this role of a Kyrie. He can't be the best guy on a championship team. He's or an Austin Reeves. These are guys who are great. They're awesome guys who they can score, but they're not going to carry your team. They are guys who work best on the second side, catching the ball and attacking, catching and shooting. They're not the guy. And we've seen that in Utah, and now we're seeing it in Cleveland. And who knows what should happen. Cleveland probably is just gonna run it back, but it's just insane that like it's been 4 years without Mitchell, and this is the farthest you go, and it's so disappointing. Or in Cleveland, that's what I meant. 4 years.
Something I found, I was looking up the guy as you were
Yes, that's
talking.
it.
And something that alarmed me was even though the numbers went down on the average seconds per touch, that's the thing that stands out to me. Because you
Yeah.
think about bringing the ball up, especially in the playoff game, and you're trying to beat the 8-second count, that gives you 16 seconds, right?
Hmm.
Like that number is alarming for how many times you're holding on to the ball because that just gives you what 10, 12 seconds for your
Yeah.
offense to score, right? Considering like you're trying to slow the pace down, limit the amount of possessions for the other team. 16 seconds, right? And
Yeah.
5 seconds. Like that gives you like 10 seconds to make your attack. And if it's not there, you have to figure out like how to get the others involved. And like that's just not a lot of time to get Mobley, Allen, Harden involved because Harden also hangs out way too long to the ball.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not higher up on this list. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
that's definitely alarming per se, but at the same time, we've seen Donovan Mitchell be aggressive early. Like I
Hmm.
know this is a glaring problem with Luka Doncic. Um, like early in his Mavs tenure, that they were like, okay, how do we get him to speed up his thought process and whatnot? And I
Yeah.
think that goes to be like, could you put around Donovan Mitchell? You
Hmm.
got to look at that too because you got to look at his career and you're like, okay, you have Rudy Gobert, lob threat, but like you
Yeah.
didn't really have much shooting around him besides Joe Ingles in Utah. Now you're on
Yeah.
the Cavs. You try to start Sam Merrill, but he's a liability on defense at times. And you have him in
Too
Mobley, but
small.
like he can hit threes, but he's just developed his offensive game. There's not a lot of like spot up marksman shooters on that team
Hmm.
around Mitchell. So it's not like you're kind of not complementing his style with guys who don't who have the JJ Redick like within a half second make your decision kind of
Yeah.
players. So it's all about like complimenting your biggest stars. I think one quick tangent on Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
He went 6 of 16 in this last game. He did not have a good game. I think he had like 15 points, 3 assists or 3 rebounds, and then 1 assist or
Yeah.
something. Not a great stat line, but it didn't matter because uh, Deuce McBride went ballistic. Jalen Brunson
Hmm.
also always goes ballistic, and then to the next point, they just have the depth. But I also want to talk about like how this Knicks team came to be because I don't think you'd believe this. The
Yeah.
Dallas Mavs were involved. Remember the
I know.
Porzingis trade?
No, yeah. For Tim Hardaway Jr. and Porzingis.
The 2 first-round picks, right?
Hmm.
Um, they actually used like trying to get their picks back as leverage to get Jalen Brunson. But once Leon Rose came in, and once this whole ownership, who by the way, none of them had basketball experience, by the way,
Wow.
um, like they ended up like getting into this deal where it's like, okay, do you want to get the draft picks? And no, the negotiations stalled. They ended up getting Brunson anyway, and look what
Hmm.
happened 4 years later. He's now like the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Um, that's like Tom Thibodeau helping him to become a really like MVP like player in the conversation,
Yeah.
turning Cam Reddish in a first round pick into Josh Hart.
That's
I don't
yeah.
know if I would have made that move. RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly for OG Anunoby.
That was big.
That
That
turned
was
out to be
huge.
a really good move. Holding on to Robinson, holding on to Deuce McBride, one of their young players
Hmm.
at the time. Um,
Yeah.
Trading 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Very aggressive move. I don't know if I
So
would have done that.
aggressive.
And then
Yeah.
trading Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. Good, talented players. And then getting Karl Anthony Towns. I don't know if I would have done that. Because at the time of that trade happened, I was like, Karl Anthony Towns is a liability on defense, and he was costing the
Hmm.
Timberwolves. But all these moves where they were like aggressive and balanced that with being savvy helped them build this team the way they were. And it was an interesting dynamic, especially because if you look at kind of discussions around James Dolan and like how
Yeah.
terrible of an owner he was like back in 2018, and like how he had to change his ownership style. Like they don't get a lot of credit for building the team the way they do, and like even with moving on from Tom Thibodeau, that was a very difficult decision. Like
Yeah.
he put a
That's
lot on
not
Mike
easy.
Brown's shoulders, and for now, it's like I feel like they have house money for making it to the finals in the first time in like 30 years. So,
Yeah.
just a huge credit for how they built the team because it's a very unique way they did it. It wasn't like all through draft picks or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say it's a good way they built it, but what happens if they got eliminated here or in the first round against the Hawks? Everyone would be saying the opposite thing. And I think it's just the fact I can't get over the fact that how they flipped the switch. How is Karl-Anthony Towns not fouling out of games? How is he not in foul trouble all the time? How is Jalen Brunson playing good defense? Like these are things that I was worried about. Like Josh Hart hitting threes. And there's always the chance of luck, right? And I'm not saying that's all it is, but they decided to just lock in at the right time. And I love that it worked out for them. But that's such a big thing in my head because I'm telling you, before these playoffs, I would have thought the Timberwolves Knicks trade for Randall and Cat with those guys was even. And at this point, one team's in the finals, one isn't. And you kind of go the other way. And it's a make or miss league, right? But I just find it so interesting just how things can change, how one playoff run changes everything. But I disagree that they don't have house money right now because you might be the best team in the East now, but the Celtics are going to come back somehow next year. The Pacers are going to come back even better with
The
Zubac.
Wizards.
The Wizards will be competing, and well, who knows what the Raptors are going to like. Every year in almost any conference, well, mostly the East because it's more wide open, but you can't sit back and say, "Oh, we're here, it's great, let's have a great time." We're here, we gotta do our thing now. Like,
Tell me who in the
two,
East they had to deal with this playoffs. Tell me who,
no,
because
that's what I'm saying.
because
This
they
was
had
the
to
plan.
deal with the Hawks, the Sixers, and the Cavs. Would you
Hmm.
consider that great competition in the East?
It's not, but that's why. That's why it's take advantage now, because who knows what you'll see next year, and maybe it'll be worse if you're lucky.
May I
But
remind you, Diego? Whoever comes out of the West, the Knicks will either have to deal with a 7-4 alien who
yeah,
completely wipes out the concept of offense from your team,
hmm,
or they have to deal with a two-time MVP who's not having his best playoff series at the moment,
yeah,
but he has so much talent around him and deep full of talent. I don't think there's an easy series for the Knicks. I think where
yeah.
they're at right now, compared to how like people are reviewing them going
Oh
into
yeah.
the season, I think this is a win so far. I'm
Oh
agreeing with you there. If I'm like was on the team now, I'm like, we're all the way here. We gotta win a chip.
hmm,
But I'm looking at this team and I'm like, they didn't fold under pressure.
yeah.
They've improved in ways that you didn't think they would improve in. This season is a win for them so far.
Agreed.
So maybe I went too far with the house money. Yeah, you do have to be worried about next year.
Yeah.
But picture this out of all the wild things you mentioned too. Guess what their point differential was?
So far,
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess it's 250. No, 267.
very very close. It's it's actually higher than the numbers you listed, but they are higher than the second most, which is the Warriors in 2016 and 17. They had 230,
Oh,
and
in the
they did this in
playoffs.
17 games. Yeah, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah.
in the playoffs,
Hmm.
they played 17 games in the playoffs
That
that
makes
year.
sense. Yeah.
They were plus 230. The Knicks were plus 271 in three less games.
Yep.
That's
Three less
ridiculous,
games.
man. That's
Yeah.
just simply ridiculous. The way the Knicks are viewed
Hmm.
now compared to where they were in the regular season, I think you almost have to throw that out of the water.
Hmm.
I think they're a lot closer to the Spurs and the Thunder than people think. I do agree they have matchup issues still with
Yeah.
either one of those teams, but I don't think these are the same old Knicks from when we were looking at them when season's end.
Nope. And that's what I was saying. the change. But I think the biggest other reason why I think this is their chance is because this is a like Mavs versus Timberwolves in the conference finals in 24. This is what was the next one? Oh, I mean the Thunder facing the Nuggets last year after going to 7 with the Clippers. This is whoever the Knicks face are gonna be like crawling to the next round. I mean the Thunder are already down their only other two actual creators. And I'm not saying the Knicks will dominate them, but that's gonna be way hard. Shea's already struggling, and the defense of the Spurs is a lot better. But the Spurs also don't have De'Aaron Fox at 100%. You're relying on a 20-year-old rookie to be your second best perimeter creator. And Steph Castle, I don't think he turned it over that bad this last game, but Steph Castle's turning the ball over like James Harden. So, that's why I'm saying like, and that's why I'm saying I think this is the Knicks' chance, and they've got to take advantage of this rest. And OG Anunoby being at 100%, he might be the guy to give Wemby a bit of a struggle, and he did that in the Cup final.
Stop it, man. They don't. Do they have a Hardenstein on their team? Do they have a Chet Holmgren on
They
their team?
did.
Do they have the
Chet
level of
Holmgren isn't even doing
defenders
that
that they
much.
do on OKC in numbers and droves?
They have 3 great defensive wings. That's something. But after that, they don't have much though. Landry
Tell
Shamet.
me a player who ranked as highly as Casey Wallace did on the All NBA defensive team. Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort,
I
who
don't
should have
know
been
Chet
on there,
Holmgren.
like Alex
Yeah,
Caruso. Do you want me to go
that's already
on with the
4.
amount of defenders that the Thunder have?
It's true. But the Thunder don't have the offense. The Thunder don't have the same offense now. So,
My point being is I think the competition that Wemby has faced thus far
mhm.
is significantly greater than what the Knicks will present.
Oh yeah.
You have to think about the Western Conference Finals being between the two best defenses in the league right
Mhm.
now. When you frame it
Yeah.
to that conversation, and then you go to the Knicks, then you can kind of put into context like how to compare each team against the Knicks.
Yeah.
I think the Knicks defense has improved, but
Mhm.
I don't think they have the personnel to deal with Wemby. I think those are entirely two
Yeah.
separate arguments.
Yeah.
Castle, maybe. What I'm seeing is concerning, but I think Castle's turnovers and Harper's to a lesser degree are more
Mhm.
to do with OKC's ability to create turnovers off of guards
Yeah.
than it is a Stefan Castle issue. If it
Mhm.
persists somehow with the Spurs moving on to New York, that's a storyline we'll have to analyze. But I don't think just yet we can say the Spurs are vulnerable. I think
Yeah.
I think it's a product of OKC's defense being one of the best in the league. And I'm
Valid.
not ready to put New York's up there just yet.
Well, do you think the Thunder are vulnerable because of the loss of AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams?
Again, the Spurs have the second best defense in the league,
Yeah.
right? So they're the perfect defense to expose the deficiency of nothing around Shea. But then
Mhm.
again, who won game 5 and pretty handily?
Yeah.
The Thunder did. Because what were you talking about going into game 5? Chet Holmgren had to be aggressive. He had to be the
Yeah.
second best
That's true.
player. Like Hardenstein had to be more of a presence with his floater game because it was very effective against Wembanyama. Who do they start in place? Jaron McCain. For
Yeah.
the Thunder, because they're so deep, it almost doesn't matter who's out there. Because they've been without Jalen Williams pretty much the entire playoffs.
Yeah. The whole
Like the
season
starter
almost.
Jalen Williams.
Yep.
Like, and it hasn't phased them at all. They just lost AJ Mitchell, and it clearly hasn't phased them at all with game 5.
Mhm.
So that would have been a storyline had they lost game 5 in the same manner that they lost game 4 and game 1. But I more think it's the San Antonio defense. I think the defenses of the Western Conference teams are kind of inflating the vulnerabilities of the teams when projecting it against the Knicks.
Oh well. It's understandable.
But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say the Knicks don't have a chance because they've been a completely different team since the playoffs started. And in their
Mm.
meetings against the San Antonio Spurs, they've averaged 120 points and
That's
more.
crazy.
So
Wow.
they have the offense to match,
Mhm.
but I think the playoffs are a different game when you're talking about the Spurs and what they do well in the half court and the defensive end and what
Yep.
it means in the playoffs. We shall see. But I don't I don't fully buy into the narrative that either Western Conference team is vulnerable right now. So
Hmm.
maybe that's just me.
Maybe vulnerable isn't the right word, but the Knicks have a non-zero chance of winning, which feels like more if it feels like they have a higher chance than when the playoffs started and you would have told us it's going to be Knicks versus Spurs or Thunder. We both probably would have said the Western Conference is winning by a long shot. So I think the probability of the Knicks winning is increased, which gives me hope and uh non-repeat champion streak.
Would you say they're underdogs?
The Knicks?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Okay. I'm probably still on the underdog talk as well with the Knicks,
Yeah,
but I probably lean to like they have a 35% chance of winning. When earlier I probably said they had a 5% chance of winning.
yeah. It's just so crazy. Like I was hoping, praying, and pleading for the Pistons to have like a great postseason, and then I thought the Cavs were something, and the Knicks just dismantled them. I'm really curious if what would have happened in the Knicks Pistons, but it probably would not have been that. I think it would have been 5 games after knowing what we know now. Yeah.
I don't know about that because you would think the Cavs, having been tested with the Raptors and the Pistons, would have been
Hmm.
equipped to handle the series, and I think they clearly, whether it was fatigue or just like lack of accountability, they just weren't there. So I don't
Yeah,
I don't think we would have saw that out of the Pistons.
maybe, but they also
Like
had two non-shooters. Well, I guess the Cavs
exactly,
did as well. But
exactly. It's like how much does not having a secondary primary score in the playoffs hurt the Pistons? I
yeah.
feel like that could have been exposed in the playoffs too. So
Mhm.
that there's multiple ways to look at it. Um, let's kind of pivot to the West since we've been talking about it a bit compared to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Who do you think has the edge and why? Knowing that it's 3-2 OKC.
Oh, it's so difficult. Who has
Yep.
the edge? I
Yep.
mean, you gotta just say the Thunder because they won Game Five. A stat that I saw. Yeah, I don't think it has changed because there haven't been other Game Fives since I saw this or other series end. Um, Whoever wins Game Five wins 82% of the series. But I think tomorrow night, Spurs in San Antonio, maybe some more nuns pull up. Like, I don't know. I think the Spurs could take that. I just really want it to be seven
I think
games.
you need the Monks as well. I don't think the Nuns will be enough for this point in this series.
We'll see. Um, yeah, it looks pretty tough, but I think OKC. Oh, it's so hard to give them the edge when they don't have two offensive creators, and their offense just seems like it's through the mud. But like you said, Chet Holmgren had a good game last night. Yeah. So Jared McCain, right? He second leading scorer, third leading scorer. Caruso. It I'll have to say the Thunder are more likely to win, but it's gonna be a crazy one.
I'll say this: do you think the Spurs are going to commit 15 turnovers and shoot 12 of 41 from three?
It's 12 of 41. That's like just over, yeah, maybe under 30%. At home, no, they're not shooting that badly. The turnovers, how many turnovers did what's his face have? Castle. Castle had 3 turnovers. He's on a better vibe here. Yeah, I'd say both ways they don't. They they just everyone plays better at home. Role players play better at home. The way I'm about to.
Yeah, then I agree. I agree. It's going seven. I think I still want to say the Spurs, but what's hesitating me to say that in seven is the sudden absence of Wemby in Game Five.
Yeah.
It is just inexplicable, and I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, where it's just his first time in the playoffs, being second year in the NBA,
Yep.
and just hitting that fatigue level like he wasn't expecting, or just an off night where he didn't make shots. Like you saw Fox comment, like he just didn't make his shots. He got all the right looks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
4 of
but
15.
I think he has to, in order for the Spurs to advance, he definitely has to be more aggressive. I agree with the coach. Like he
Yeah.
hit 12 of his free throws, but shooting 4 of the 15 from the field is not good enough.
Yeah.
you have to be more aggressive. Like even if you're not going to be efficient, you're going to open up other opportunities for the players around you. And I think
Hmm.
there's so many times where he's just like squaring up guys, but shooting from three, squaring up guys from shooting from the elbow, and like you could tell he tried an initial move to be aggressive on a Hardenstein, but like it would get walled off, and the Thunder wouldn't allow it. They're trying to crowd the paint a lot, but I I just think he has to just attack and just whether it's a putback or something to make his presence known early and set the tone. That like I almost can't make a prediction until I see the first minute of the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of what's gonna sway me towards the Spurs. And until then, like I think the Thunder are winning the series, but my heart wants the Spurs.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of this. It's the Thunder have the edge right now because they have home court advantage, and they've proven without AJ Mitchell and
Hmm.
Jalen Williams they can get sufficient offense, and they're not going to score 82 points again.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
Jared McCain in the starting lineup is here to stay. It's a permanent
Hmm.
fix, and hopefully Caruso's fine with the ankle injury that he suffered. But
Right. It's
like
big.
I think McCain in the starting lineup is huge to spread out the floor and
Hmm.
just stop more resources from limiting Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But what San
Yeah.
Antonio has going for them without the foul trouble is they have the personnel to uniquely stop Shea and
Hmm.
limit some of his padded and mid-range floaters. Not a lot of people have that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a series that can go 50-50. And my heart want to say the Spurs win in seven, but
Hmm.
logically looking at this, I think OKC pulls it out in 7 games.
Yeah.
Such a non-answer, right? I don't know. It's kind of just a pick 'em.
I'm gonna. I mean, my prediction is filled by my urge to have my agenda be fulfilled, but I'm picking the Spurs in seven. Uh yeah, it'd just be insane. And yeah, I'm excited to see like these are the moments we just have to like we're making our prediction here, but you just gotta sit back and just enjoy what's gonna happen because this is some generational stuff. We're gonna see more of it hopefully in the future with Wemby and these Thunder. So yeah, it's just crazy.
Are you sure you want that? Don't you want the Mavs to have a place in the conversation a little bit?
I don't know. I reserve. I will not make any Mavs takes until I see the free agency and who we draft.
Okay, fair. Spoken like a reasonable fan.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think there's enough teams in the South Midwest of Texas
It's too
and
many.
surrounding areas of Texas that are doing really good right now. We don't need more teams there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I it's more of those like I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy the movie that we're
Yep.
seeing right now. I probably favoring both teams to win the NBA Finals as we just discussed, but like I think the big thing is to see is what is Wemby going to be aggressive, and if
Hmm.
he is aggressive, that's going to set the table for everything. That's just going to determine it for me. So,
Yep. Agreed. It's gonna be amazing. I'm
all right, get
excited.
your popcorn ready, folks.
Yep.
That wraps it up for this episode of the podcast. When we meet next week, we'll
Yep.
know who's in the NBA Finals. So we'll give you a finals preview as recap
Gosh.
what happened in the Thunder and Spurs series that ends Saturday. So make sure
Yep.
you pay attention to that and give that a listen. You can follow us on our Instagram page, amon.a.mission, but we have our full length
Mhm.
videos in the YouTube channel. I'm on a mission. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Drop a comment what you want to see next episode. So then, see you later. Enjoy the playoffs.
Yep. Or sorry.